That has to be one of the most shocking results in English football history. Grimsby Town have knocked out Manchester United from the League Cup. In this video, we're going to break down what it means for Ruben Amorim, where this leaves Manchester United, and talk about all the goals and talk about Grimsby Town. What a moment for them. Make sure you subscribe. Leave your comments down below. Where does this leave Ruben Amorim? Because ultimately, we have to start off with Ruben Amorim now, because he's just come off the back of losing a Europa League final, just come off the back of a couple of Premier League games where a draw against Fulham looked poor, really poor at points, losing to Arsenal 1-0 at home, now losing to Grimsby Town, drawing the game 2-2. Can't even win a game against Grimsby Town in normal time. And this isn't a side reduced to 16-year-olds or random old players still in the squad. This is a Manchester United side that started with Sesko up top, Diallo, Kobbie Mainoo, Ugarte, Cunha, Bruno Fernandes, Mason Mount came on, Delo, Dorgu, Onana cost £50 million. This is one of the most expensively assembled squads to ever get knocked out by a side in the 4th division of English football ever. And I think it's the lowest point Manchester United have ever been in since 1974. Sir Alex Ferguson got knocked out by a couple of sides. I think Burton Albion back when I was a kid. I think Yeovil Town potentially as well. These things can happen to all the great managers. Pep Guardiola lost to Wigan Athletic in his 2nd season. But there's something here with Manchester United. The lack of quality, the lack of confidence. And then Mbeumo misses that penalty. Let's just talk about all the goals. But leave your comments down below. Grimsby Town were robust. They're playing with a back 4. They look like they've got a little bit too much space against Manchester United. Manchester United line up with 3 centre-backs in this game. And yes, Heaven is a progressive footballer. He can push up the pitch. Frederiksen as well. But again, it's still a back 5 with Delo and Dorgu as wing-backs. There's a lack of control in the midfield. There's a lack of personnel, like just sheer bodies in the midfield. And Grimsby Town are able to find little pockets of space. They play a ball over to the left-hand side. And it's a beautiful finish, ultimately, from Charlie Vernon. He was absolutely fantastic today. Gardner was fantastic. Green was fantastic. McEachran was fantastic. The midfield and the forward line from Grimsby pressing hard, but they were pressing smart. They were pressing as a unit, and they were putting so much pressure under Manchester United, who didn't have that extra man in midfield to control things. Kobbie Mainoo today looked like he was completely lost. He's been thrown at the deep end to ultimately start this kind of game, offer some legs, because Casemiro and Bruno have played the last couple of games in the Premier League, and by the way, they look leggy in those games. Kobbie Mainoo is being potentially shafted out the door by the ownership at Manchester United. How does he feel? And by the way, he tucked away his penalty in the penalty shootout very well, and he played well. I'm not saying he had a bad game against Grimsby Town, but you must be sitting there thinking, you want to get rid of this guy. Rashford's out on loan. Garnacho's about to join Chelsea. Anthony's not involved. Sancho's not involved. But Kobbie Mainoo has to be part of this midfield. And he's getting completely outrun by McEachran in particular, who was absolutely superb. He really was. It goes 2-0 8 minutes later. It is an Onana mistake. He's flapping at it. It bounces to Tyrell Warren, who, by the way, scored a great penalty in the shootout himself. I think he was let go by Manchester United as a youth academy product as well. Warren with a great little toe poke basically into the corner of the net. It's a brilliant little finish. Of course, it's shocking keeping from Andre Onana, who alongside Bayindir goes down as one of the worst keepers in the history of Manchester United because he's facilitated this loss. This stuff is embarrassing. It really is. He cost £50 million. I dare argue Grimsby Town haven't burnt through £50 million worth of cash in the last 20 years. Seriously, or certainly haven't made £50 million profit. Like, this is the level we're talking about. And there'll be people saying I'm biased, people saying this, that, and the other, because rival fans will be trying to slag off Manchester United. But we have to just take a step back and say the egregious amount of money in this Manchester United side should never, ever be losing. Never have less spirit, less belief than Grimsby Town, because the money should be talking here. It has to be. It's different if there's 16-year-olds. It's different if there's a brand new keeper and it's just completely a different setup, a load of academy products. Maybe you can justify this. Even then, I don't think you can. But there's a lot of quality in this side. This was a Premier League 11 that could have started against Liverpool seriously, or in a Champions League game. That's how much quality Man United were showing in this game. And Grimsby Town at points were cutting through it. And that will lead on to my discussion about Ruben Amorim. But Brian Mbeumo gets Manchester United back into it with a very, very good goal. They looked tired. Grimsby defending fell off 5-10 yards, and he found some space. It was a very, very good finish coming in from his right-hand side onto his left foot. And then Harry Maguire, who earlier denied potentially Grimsby their third goal with a bit of a semi-interception. I think he's played the ball. The referees called it. By the way, I thought the ref was superb today. The refs called it wrong. It should have been a goal for Gardner, I think it was. And it should have been 3-0 to Grimsby Town. Let that sink in. Or even 4-0. They had another great chance that they squandered to make it 3 or 4-0. And then Harry Maguire, to be fair to him, scores a brilliant header. Ultimately, the defending for that was really poor from Grimsby, but you have to say, the whole back line from Sweeney, Warren, the keeper, Pym, absolutely superb, and they just switched off. I think they saw the future of winning against Manchester United, what a big moment this would be. And of course, I'm so glad they finally did get that moment after penalties. The penalties went on 12-11 in the end, with Brian Mbeumo, I think, hitting the crossbar. It was a strange atmosphere. It felt like a reluctance from Manchester United. Yes, 99% of the people that took the penalties for Manchester United scored them, but there was just a strange lack of confidence, strange kind of almost apathy, and I think that comes from Ruben Amorim. We have to talk about Ruben Amorim. I'm going to talk about his fixtures. Leave your comments down below about this. Burnley at home should be 3 points. I'm not sure. I'm not saying this as a wind-up. Then you think Man City, Chelsea, Brentford away, Sunderland at home, Liverpool away. There might not be a win there until the 19th of October for Manchester United. There might be a draw. Maybe they beat Burnley. Maybe we're talking 1 win in 6, 1 win in 5, maybe 2, Burnley and Brentford. This is absolutely shocking. They've lost in a competition they should be looking to win. They've spent billions of pounds, the £400 million worth of talent on the pitch. They aren't going to win the Premier League. They can't win anything in Europe. They're not in it because of how poor they were last season. Could have got relegated last season. And he took over close to 6th last season. Let that sink in. Some moments that I thought were outstanding. Ruben Amorim, I couldn't believe it. They're 2-0 down. He's looking down at the board. He's playing around with his little pieces like he's playing World of Warcraft or something, playing a video game. I thought he was completely out of touch. There are moments where you do need little iPads and you need little screens. He's 2-0 down and you have to just go back to basics. You have to be a football manager. You have to show momentum on the touchline. David Artell was doing that all day. And look, Ruben Amorim has done a lot more in football management than David Artell, but Artell's on the touchline. He's guiding his players, a lot of them very young footballers as well. And Ruben Amorim's there, head down, disengaged from the game. It is a small microcosm of who he is as a manager. I think he's a touch alienated. I think he's a little bit sterile, dare I say it. And we thought he was going to bring a je ne sais quoi, va-va-voom into the Premier League. And he hasn't. He's shrinked under the pressure. And that's how I see it. And then you're looking at when the penalties were taken. He wasn't engaged. He wasn't on the touchline. The Man United players had no one to look over to. Who's in charge of this Manchester United side? And yes, some managers don't want to see the penalties get taken. But this isn't the Champions League final. This isn't the World Cup final. This is against Grimsby. If I'm Kobbie Mainoo, if I'm Delo taking a penalty, you want to see your manager there. You want to see some guidance from the coaching staff who were all sort of taking a knee and kind of almost, it looked like they were surrendering to Grimsby Town, who were all on the touchline, hugging each other, believing. Now, of course, the context of both clubs is relevant. One's a League Two side, one's a massive pressure cooker of a football club in Manchester United. But there has to be something said about Manchester United's manager, his conduct, his energy levels, his intensity. It looks introverted. It looks quiet. It looks secluded. He looks like he's away from everyone. Doesn't look like his side out there at points. The 3-4-3 doesn't work. You don't need an extra centre-back against Grimsby Town. You can just go 4-4-2. You've got some great strikers now because he spent hundreds of millions of pounds. Something has to give. The system has to change or he will lose his job within the next few weeks. 100%. You don't need a back three against Burnley at home. Mark my words. There will be massive uproar from Manchester United fans if they don't see more of the talent that they are promised. Delo, Cunha, Sesko. These guys have to be playing all together. Surely. And Amad Diallo as well. I don't want it to just be a video jumping on Manchester United for a laugh, but ultimately, this is embarrassing stuff. Had they been lower than this since 1974 when they got relegated to the second division? I don't know. And they could have been relegated last season. It's really, really poor. I have to say a massive kudos to Grimsby Town, because a lot of the narrative will be about Manchester United. There's a great chance Grimsby get knocked out by a Premier League side next round. That's just how it goes. But this is maybe the greatest moment in their modern history. They've had some famous nights before, never quite won anything like this kind of competition. But for Grimsby Town, a healthy position in League Two, potentially getting promoted, a young side, a hard-working side, throughout the side today, they were outstanding. And I hope the narrative isn't too much about Ruben Amorim, a guy that's completely out of his depth. But I hope it goes to Grimsby Town. What a ringing endorsement this is for English football, for the lower pyramid of English football being able to get a result against billion-quid Manchester United. Billion-quid bottle job Manchester United. It has, again, I have to reiterate, it goes back. Great Liverpool sides have been beaten of yesteryear. Manchester United, they're giant killings in the cup competitions. Why football's so special. It happens all across Europe. This has happened to Man United before. But the context of where Manchester United are has to be examined. This is absolutely shocking. It's the lowest of the low. You don't lose to Grimsby Town unless there's 5 16-year-olds on the pitch and you just rotated everyone. He's put everyone out today. He's put everyone out. Sesko, Cunha, Maguire's £80 million centre-back. There's so much quality throughout the pitch, and they look disjointed. They look like they're getting ripped through today. And they didn't deserve to win the game, even when they drew it. They should have been 3 or 4-0 down. These are the facts. So Man United are in a world of pain. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure you subscribe if you made it this far. I would really appreciate it. Leave your thoughts. I'll see you very, very soon.